everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel, Myra Lorraine. Thank you all for stopping in to watch my videos. Now I have another one for you. I have to tell you first, I have my sojo is back. I'm not sure if it's because I have to be quarantined or isolated in the house, but I'm so happy. You can see the big smile on my face. I'm so happy because I'm actually really getting to sew as much as I like, and I am loving it. But what I'm finding right now is that I'm getting myself overwhelmed because it almost seems as though my time is going to run out and I won't be able to continue sewing like I am. But I'm just going to go ahead and do what I can because I'm just having so much fun being able to sew. And thank you all so very much for the wonderful comments on my cruise dress and how apologetic you all were about me missing the cruise. It's just a trip, you know, we all can take another one. As a matter of fact, when we get this crisis resolved, we'll probably meet somewhere in the airport or on a cruise ship somewhere because everyone's going to be trying to take vacation. But anyways, thank you again for all your kind comments. I read each and every one and I appreciate it from the heart. But let's talk about what I just did. This one has been on my radar for some time. I actually made a tracksuit from this pattern. I think it was a couple years ago. I can't remember, but I'll put a picture of the tracksuit I'm talking about, where I used the jacket pattern for what I'm about to show you. And now this time, I usually when I sketch something, I usually sketch it because it's something I had an idea in my head. But this one started a little different. I knew I wanted another tracksuit because that one that I just showed you, I kind of messed up and it was my fault. I no longer have it, but I ruined it. And let's just leave it at that. It's quite embarrassing. But I needed another tracksuit. As a matter of fact, I want a couple because they make for great traveling outfits. When you're getting on a plane, you know it's kind of chilly on a plane most times. I mean, that tracksuit is something you could layer a smaller top underneath and unzip, or you could have it when you're warm, and it's so comfortable because it's not binding. Tracksuits are just wonderful traveling pieces. So I wanted another one, and I want another one after this one I'm about to show you. So I used, instead of sketching something out of my head, I went to the patterns first. I knew I was going to need a bottom, so I picked the True Bias Hudson pants. And this pattern I had made once before, and I know the lovely Vivian from Stitches and Seams has made a bazillion of them, really nice ones. And I wanted another pair because the first pair that I made, they turned out pretty good, but I knew they could be better. Well, this second pair turned out a lot better. I really like that pattern. I can understand why she made so many of them. So I picked the pattern first, and then for the jacket, I went to one that I had made before in that picture that I just showed you. I used the Jolie, I think it's $27.95. It's their jacket. And I had made that before, but I knew it needed some changes because there were some things that I really didn't want to do again, and I wanted to modify them. So I did that with this jacket, with the exception of one thing I forgot to write down. But anyway, so now let's get started talking about it. Well, so what I did was, now that I picked out the patterns, then I went to my sketchbook to sketch what I wanted it to look like. You know, what kind of changes I was going to make to it, that kind of thing. I already knew what color I was going to do. I had opted for one color, and then when I started sketching, it metamorphosized into two colors. So I already had purchased the one color for my main warm-up suit, so I knew what the main color was going to be. It was going to be this kind of green, kind of a light forest green, I think it's called. I'm not sure of the color, but if I can find it on my sheet where I ordered it from, I'll put it up here on the screen for you. But anyway, so I had that fabric, and the other color that I wanted to know, let me just bring my sketch up. This is the sketch that I did, and this is what the jacket and the pants metamorphosized into. And I really liked the look. I thought, okay, it's not too bad. I think I can accomplish this using the patterns that I selected. So let me show you what it looks like. This is the warm-up suit back here. Let's go down so you guys can see it. This is the warm-up suit, and I have it zipped up right now so you can't really see the pants. Let's take it down. There's the pants. So, and I'll give you a closer look at this. Let's start off with the jacket first. I'm going to take the jacket off of Sally so that you could see it a little, so we can talk about it a little better. Now, as I showed you before, this is the Jolly 2795, and I made the jacket without the hoodie. And the first time I made it, the first thing that I noticed, that's one of the changes that I had made on the pattern after I made my first one, was the collar. This collar here was about double the height, because what I did was I took the pattern piece here and I folded it in half, and I just used it half of the width. It was way too high for me, and even though I have a relatively modest neck, well, it's not too short and it's not too long, it just have a normal neck, I guess. Well, not normal, but what I want, an average neck, thank you. An average neck. So, but that was way too high for me. So I shortened it and it was perfect. It was perfect for this jacket. And what you see here, let me talk about all the changes first, and I'll talk to you about the other things I did. The sleeve here, let me show you the sleeve, is a 5-piece sleeve with the patterns. I made mine 1 piece, but I had a problem. When I was putting the pattern pieces together, I actually taped them together with the seam allowance overlapping, but there was 1 piece on the side that was supposed to be cut twice, and I didn't realize that when I created my pattern piece. So I quickly figured that out when I was trying to put it together in the jacket, and it was quite small, and I'll show you how small. It ended up being a design element that I absolutely adore, but I had to go back because I thought I didn't have enough fabric, and I used the same contrast that I did on the collar and the cuffs for that back piece, which ended up working out really nice. But as you see, it would have been that short of putting in. But that was my mistake. But I love, that is one of those mistakes that turns out a design element that we sewers always talk about in a good way. And I loved it. And just a mental note for you all, I did have enough leftover fabric because I have enough to make another pair of warm-up pants. I just didn't see it. I had put it way up top where I couldn't see it. But anyway, so that was a change. It went from a 5-piece sleeve to a 2-piece sleeve. And I think the 5 pieces, the way they have it set up, is that you can color coordinate it, but it has a lot of top stitching too, so it has a lot of details to it. Now, this one doesn't have a lot of top stitching on it, as you can see. And the reason is because which I didn't talk about in the beginning, this fabric is a little thick. I got the fabric from Myra Lorraine Fabrics. I think it's called Low Price Fabrics. And it is a knit, and it has the same look as a regular knit. Let you see that there. But on the inside, it's heavier. It looks like a fleece. So it makes it kind of thick and spongy. I mean, really thick. It's not heavy, but it makes it a little thick for sewing top stitches. Sorry, that's my Instapot. Gotta multitask. But so that's the reason you don't see a lot of top stitching all over here, is because I think the fabric was too thick. And I'll show you how I could tell when I was doing the pockets here in the front. Let's see, there we go. When I was doing the pockets here, you can see how it looks a little bit thicker. Well, when I first did that top stitch, that's when I thought about it, and I said, nah, I don't think that's gonna work very well. So I'm gonna have to change that and not do the top stitching that way. Not put the top stitching in. So I decided not to. But so I did that. Now, to follow through with my design, I wanted this stripe here. And how I did the stripe, it ended up pretty nice here. It's pretty successful. It turned out very nice, but I would do it differently next time. On my first jacket, I had a stripe going down the sleeve. Well, I had cut the sleeve into three pieces to make that stripe. I should have done that here, made 3 pieces and sewed the pieces together to make the stripe. Instead, what I did was I made a tube of the green and turned it inside out and then stitched it down top and bottom to the collar before I added the facing on it. And I got to put my label in. I didn't put my label in here. And the reason why I say I won't do that again on a thicker fabric, on a thinner fabric like a double knit, just a regular double knit, it probably would have been okay. But with this thicker, with the fleece like on the back, I mean, it really does feel like fleece. It's very nice and warm. But it made it a little thick for sewing, and I was very careful not to make it crooked because it could have dodged down and things like that. But I used my Wonder Tape to keep it in place, and then I sewed it down. Now, let's see, for changes, what else did I do? Oh, and the other thing that I did was I did a contrast waistband on it. Let's see, so you can see that. I did a contrast waistband. They had the same waistband. But as you see, it was really easy. It took me a couple of days to do this because I didn't work on it all day. I just worked on it a few hours during the 2 days. But it turned out really, really nice. Now, the one thing I didn't write down that I remembered quickly after I tried this on was I should have made in my notes to make it a size smaller, because this Jolly pattern ran a little bit larger for me. I made my size medium, but you'll see in the pictures when I show you later, it fits me very nicely and I love it, but I could have gone down a size if I wanted it a little more fitted. This one is going to be fine the way it is. So now let's talk about the pants. Let's get this back over here. And I'll get you to hold on for a minute while I take the pants off. Okay, now let's get you back up where you can see me. Okay, now for the pants, I had used, as I mentioned, True Bias, the Hudson pants. And I absolutely love this pair of pants for joggers. They're really, really nice. The only change that I made to this one, other than the contrast colors, was I left off the cuff on the bottom. I didn't put the cuff on the bottom because this is more of a tracksuit and I'm going to be wearing it for travel most cases. I didn't want that on the bottom. I do like to have that on there, but mostly if I'm just running errands or if I'm going to be around the house in them. As a matter of fact, I have my first pair on right now in navy. But I love this. I love this so much. As I mentioned, I didn't do anything different to them other than the contrast colors. And the ties here, the tie is of the self fabric, as you can see. I did have the buttonholes. I don't know if you can see that, the buttonhole opening there. There we go. And my green fabric actually kind of, the fuzzies after cutting and stuff, I'm gonna have to wash this again because I noticed some of that green fuzzies is getting on my black. But I love these pants, and now I'm talking a little bit about them. I'll show you some pictures of me in it. And I'll have to apologize, until this crisis is over, most of my pictures will probably be in the house because I have to be isolated. So there'll be time after that. So I think you guys really want to see the clothes and it doesn't matter too much about where I am. But so I'm going to get you the pictures. They'll just be house pictures for now. But while these pictures are going, talk about the sewing of these pants are very, very easy and super quick. I mean, you can make a pair in a day, a few hours in a day, as evidenced by Miss Vivian, who made, I don't know, I can't remember. She was making a bunch of them for her family members one day, and I don't know how long it took her, but she was done pretty quick, and they were so nice. But you can get these done very quickly. They are super easy to make. I didn't see any problems with the way I put them together the exact way that the pattern tells you to, and I didn't have any problems with them whatsoever. Now my first pair that I talk about I have on right now, one thing I did differently that I make sure I made a mental note when I went to Joann last and I had to increase my supply. I had to replenish my supply of elastic, is purchasing what type of elastic that you want in your bands. Well, my first one that I have on right now is a non-roll, and it's quite stiff and I don't like it. I really don't like it. While it doesn't roll down, they're right about that. It does not roll down. If it rolls, it's going to flip all the way over, but it doesn't roll down. I don't like it because it's just too hard. So I looked for one that was the same size, which is what I have in here. It is not a non-roll, it's a knit one, but it doesn't tend to roll on me anyway. I like this soft one much better, much better. So if you pay attention to your elastics when you're purchasing, because they do make a difference where they're the different types and where you use them. So I think that's it for this warm-up suit. I think I've told you about everything on this one that I could think of. And if you have any questions for me, please go ahead and leave them down in the comments below, because I'll answer every question that you have. And if I don't know the answer to it, you know, I'll try and find somebody who can answer it for you. So I hope you enjoyed this. Stay tuned for my next video. You guys stay safe out there, stay protected, and I'll see you in the next video. Happy sewing. Bye now.